Sure we can do it. We just got to. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know we can do it. Sure we can do it. We got to.
It is blissfully sunny here again today, and there's a cool breeze which makes it perfect weather for being outside. However, I've got a bit of sunburn on my ears and on the back of my neck, which I guess is what happens when you have your hair cut short and you're used to your hair protecting your ears and the back of your neck. So I'm not going to be out here very long today. I'm going to try and be sensible. But I just wanted to follow up on yesterday's vlog. Somebody commented yesterday. Her name's Sandra, and Sandra knows loads about chickens, and she's a good egg because she regularly gives me really good advice, which some of which I follow, and some of it I don't. But that's also the way of the world. Anyway, she told me that rather than washing earwigs away and getting rid of them, that perhaps I should shake them near or in the chicken houses, because apparently, and who knew, well obviously she did, but who knew earwigs eat red mite? Oh, this is like a revelation to me, because I don't want to be using chemicals and horrid sprays in the chicken houses, but equally I don't want the chickens to be plagued by red mite. So I'm going to get some of the artichokes today. I'm going to shake the earwigs into the chicken houses and see if that has any impact. Anyway, what I really wanted to talk to you about today was in the old days. So in the old days when I was a child, which isn't that long ago. Well, okay, it is, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that long ago. But in the old days, we used to pick blackberries during the last week of the school summer, which, as far as I know, hasn't changed, and it's still the last week in August, first week in September, and we used to pick blackberries then. And then I remember, I don't know, while I was in my 30s and 40s, that blackberries seemed to be ready in the middle of August, and then the first week in August, and now here we are, middle of July, and the blackberries are ready. Okay, I'm sorry, Big White was having a tantrum about something over there. Now what worries me is that it seems to me that the main reason that our wild fruits are coming into fruit and ripening earlier is because it's now warmer. And that can only be caused by climate change. It's not a one-off, it's not a just this year. This is becoming a regular occurrence, and you know, blackberries in July, it just feels like a world of wrong. So last year I got masses of blackberries from the hedgerows, and I will do a check back, and I will put up on the screen when it is that I started collecting blackberries, but I really don't think it was this early in July. Might have been, but look at them, and look how many there are. This is going to be an amazing crop again this year. Last year was a fabulous crop, and this year looks like it's going to be the same. And these are not cultivated ones. These are, as you can see by the fabulous brambles and the thorns on the stems, these are these are hedgerow brambles, and they're at the end of our garden. And whilst part of me just says, oh, cut them down, another part of me says, ooh, free food, and I want to keep them. I mean, look at this. lovely juicy fruits. They are just delicious. I mean, you can tell how much stuff has changed because we used to have blackberry and apple crumble, and that was blackberries picked from the hedgerows and apples from the garden, and apples ripen, well, kind of in September and October onwards, but certainly in September onwards. Now, possibly in the world, part of the world that you're in, things ripen at different rates, and they're bound to. But here, I grew up about 6 or 7 miles away from here, and as I say, looking over to where I used to live. So, you know, it's not like I've moved hundreds of miles. I have, but you know, I've come back, and I just find it really disconcerting. It makes me worry for the future, but in the meantime I need to go and get a basket to gather some blackberries, and I shall carry on pondering the state of the world while I'm blackberry picking. Well, there we go, a 20-minute stroll along the hedgerow, and that's about, well, I just weighed it so I know that it's 2.5 pounds of blackberries. And oh look, there's a little caterpillar on that one. Don't think we want that. So yeah, so 2.5 pounds, and mostly those were just the end ones. So where the bunch of flowers were, it was just the lead blackberry, and there's an awful lot out there to ripen over the next few weeks. So last year I picked and froze, I don't know, about 25, maybe 30 pounds of blackberries, and we have just got one batch left in the freezer that I'm going to use to make some blackberry wine. So very nice to see that they've lasted us with a bit of careful use. They've lasted us through the year. And so the next thing I'm going to do with the blackberries is to give them a quick wash, and then I'm going to lay them out in trays on greaseproof paper. I'm going to put them on greaseproof paper on metal trays that would normally go in the oven, but instead of that I pop them into the freezer and freeze the berries so that they're frozen individually, and then once they're frozen I then put them into a bag, because that means that they aren't all in a big clump together, and then when I want to use some I can just pop my hand into the bag, pull out a few, rather than it being a big solid lump of blackberries, which is fine if you want to stew a load of blackberries or use a load, but this way I can just use as many as I need at one time, and it means that it becomes quite nice to be able to pop some on top of a cheesecake, or into some cream to go with some meringues for later in the year. Now, I'm probably not a very adventurous cook by a lot of people's standards, and all I ever do with blackberries is jam and syrup, wine, a variation on Eton mess, so I put them with cream and meringues, or a crumble and pie. And if you have any other really good recipes, or just ideas, they don't really need to be a whole recipe, but the name of a dish, because I can always look up how to make it, please leave it in a comment below, and maybe this year I'll do something a little more imaginative with those blackberries that have arrived just a little bit too early. Anyway, wherever you are in the world, and whatever you're up to today, I hope it's been a good one. Please let me know how far away your blackberries are from ripening, and which part of the world you're in, because I think it would be really interesting to see the variations around the world. And I also hope that you can join me again tomorrow